Wow, guys, Jesus. How's it going, Bat Family? Welcome to this video. I am absolutely ecstatic to bring you this video because today we are breaking down the Batsuit reveal from Matt Reeves himself for the Batman 2021. We all knew this would be coming February, and last night, I didn't release a video because it was an inconvenient time for me, which is why I'm releasing this now. I hope you guys go on to enjoy this video because, as you could probably tell, I'm still freaking out. This many hours later, I had to sleep on it. Can you imagine? Seriously, me? Like, this reveal happens, I want to make a video, but like, you know, I had to sleep on it. And that was torturous. I wouldn't wish that upon anyone. And yet, here I am, watch the trailer, teaser, whatever, camera test again, and I am invigorated with just such fanboyism. Like, I don't know, some of you may have clicked off by this point, but I need to get this energy out there because I'm so excited for this movie. And this has just built my hype levels up tenfold. Now, I do have a lot of thoughts on the suit. I have a lot to break down about it. And I'm really excited to hear what your thoughts are on the suit as well. But yeah, let's just get into this because I've been talking long enough already without actually breaking down what I think of the suit. Now, first things first, I'm not sure how I'm editing this, whether I'm on one side of the screen or if I'm just overlaying it. But I'm not showing the full clip just by itself with that amazing music because that music is copyrighted. Because if you didn't know already, that theme that was in the video, the camera test, is the actual Batman the movie theme. It will be slightly different, I'm sure, when it's like in the movie itself. This was kind of composed, if you will, for the camera test video, but that theme, without getting into the Batsuit straight away, was just perfect. Like, this is meant to be a more noir driven story, you know, vibes like that, a much more detective Batman, and that theme was just, obviously we couldn't have imagined necessarily what it would have been like beforehand. All the Batman themes have their own kind of special, unique aspects to it, but this was just freaking Batman. Do you know what I mean? This is like, I feel like everything I'm lining up for this film in my imagination. Everything that's getting released about it ever so obscurely and subtly at the minute, but this is the first big milestone with the Batsuit. It is just exceeding my expectations. It's like building upon what I would have wanted, but it's just absolutely terraforming and evolving into fruition more than I could ever have asked for. And that theme, wow. I will also be going towards the end of this video over some details that apparently some insiders have got about the movie. I'll also be going over some concept artist impressions of this Batsuit reveal because, as you can probably tell so far in the video, or if you haven't, or if you have already seen it, it's quite dark. It's got a red filter on it, and some people have kind of already edited it. But one of the big things straight away, the first thing that I think I noticed in this reveal is that they didn't show the ears. Why, man? Like, it just makes me think, why didn't they show the ears? It's fascinating. We get a good look at the suit, but it's obviously very deliberately done here. Now, this is a camera test, and one of my first thoughts as well, after thinking where are the ears, is that since this is a camera test, they may have a lot of the design done for the suit, but maybe they're just not settled on the ears yet. But then again, maybe they already have decided that, but yet again, they just decided not to show that and maybe keep it a bit more obscure. I can't tell you definitively because it's like, why wouldn't you show the ears? It just kind of baffles me. But I haven't really even said my overall impressions of the suit, and I'm guessing I'm going to do that now. I absolutely love this thing. I obviously didn't necessarily know what to expect. Some of us thought we were getting a bit of a blue tint to the suit, this, that, and the other from what we've heard from insiders, and then so on and so forth. And that doesn't necessarily mean that there aren't hints of bluey kind of tint in the moonlight, so to speak. If this wasn't in that red filter, this is very like different to what the suit will actually look like when people are capturing it on their phones and everything like that in the preceding weeks or months from now during filming, because as you can tell, it's very darkly lit, very red. So I'm just saying it may still look a little bit different color-wise than what we're seeing in this video. And obviously they did this camera test because, you know, they're filming, and yeah, there's going to be a bunch more stuff coming out from set photos and more stuff like this. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's more camera tests, whether that's Selina Kyle's Catwoman, so on and so forth, you know. So it'd be amazing if Matt Reeves, for all I know, as I'm releasing this video, he may have released Zoe Kravitz Catwoman look camera test. That would be amazing. Now, what I'm really happy with, and what I actually said I didn't necessarily think I would like for this film, even though I do like these looks in general for Batman, but for this movie I thought they'd go for more of a skin tight kind of bat armor. But I really like this. I think the kind of rustic, gritty look, but also self-made look that Matt Reeves has gone for here with this Batsuit is very fitting for what I think a lot of us envision for this movie. Even though I said maybe they're going to go for a bit more of a handmade suit that's a bit more form-fitting in terms of just being more skin-tight, maybe Kevlar weavedy kind of stuff like that, I still really like this approach because it's kind of handmade. It's still very kind of zero-year-esque or year one-esque, and we'll get onto those details a little bit later because of the inside information. People were saying certain things about what year in Batman's career it's set in. Stick around to the end of the video for that. I still don't mind this whatsoever. In fact, I potentially love it more. I don't think it's too in your face. It's obviously a bit of plated armor. I love the shoulder pads there. You can see how it's attached in different layers. It's not as scrambled together as, for example, I don't know, like Ezra Miller's Flash suit with all the lines and stuff like that. It's done a bit more subtly than that, but it's just still something that gives off this brutish, a really intimidating presence that obviously the Batman's meant to you know, encompass in any scene. But let's talk about the symbol, the goddamn symbol, guys. I love it. God, at first I was like, oh wow, what are they doing there? But everyone has come up with this theory, and it really does make sense. I couldn't see it first of all. I was like, okay, I get what people are saying. That's pretty neat, and it wouldn't be the first time they've done it. But people were saying that bat symbol is made from the gun that killed Martha and Thomas Wayne. And I thought, brilliant. As I said, not the first time it would have been done, when Bruce has kind of smelted down the metal from that gun to provide as like you know, armor for his chest in case, you know, it's just like a poetic thing, right? And here I was like, I can't really see it. But then again, if you're struggling with that as well at a first glance of hearing this, picture that bat symbol and then fold it inwards there. Those first little bits before the end wing is like that first that kind of like beginning bit of the gun, and where you kind of cock it back, like, so to speak. Terrible description, but you'll see what I mean. It's like the gun's been split in half at that portion, and that opens the beginning brackets for those wings. And I think that's just incredible. I hope that's true. I think I would lean and probably more bet on the side that is the case, and that is what Matt Reeves is going for. And that's just awesome. It's a lot more of an Arkham-y kind of symbol design. No ears. That's very kind of Detective Batman from like some of the earlier suit designs as well. I personally don't really mind. Something to bear in mind as well, people, is that this is very early Batman. This suit will be subject to change, probably well within the trilogy. Of course, there'll be upgrades. But geez, I love this suit. Obviously the armor and the shoulder pads are quite bulky. A lot of people drawing comparisons to Arkham series, like the games. Obviously not at the level of Arkham Knight, but very obviously something a bit more bulkier than what we've got from something like Affleck, for example. But yet again, just to offer a bit of chronological perspective to Batman or Bruce across just the character in general and his suits, they do often start off this way, and then as technology and as R&D across the years in his career persists, it becomes a little bit more thinner, more lightweight, more maneuverable, and so on and so forth. So yeah, that will still happen. And when you think of Batfleck and how his suit was complete, well, that's almost 20 years in Batman. This is like a 2 years in Batman. So you could kind of understand, to all those people saying, now this is you know, Batman and this is cosplay showing the Robert Pattinson Matt Reeves Batman reveal. No, you are wrong. I am outright saying it here. No, you are wrong. You cannot have that opinion. I mean, you can, but... So moving onwards into the video, you get a little bit of a side tilt of the camera there. Those shoulder pads. I did think about those lines there. I didn't mind them. I guess they're better than if they were like, I don't know, like inverted triangles or something like that. But yeah, no, I don't really mind them. Those little cylindrical kind of horizontal lines on the shoulder, but either way I love it. It's like a shoulder pad, and underneath there's another shoulder pad. See, it's like buttoned in. I love it. But the main thing I want to point out about this part is something I didn't think I would like. I would like another look at this Batsuit, obviously without it being such an obscure reveal, and better lighting. But that's the collar and the cape. I love the cape, but I think the collar was the controversial thing for me at the beginning, or if you would have told me this beforehand, because I'm not so mega about more of a Dracula-esque collar to the Batman. I feel like that's a bit more Elseworlds Batman, but here it really fits. I think that's because it's not too large, it's not too in your face, and it kind of like complements the cowl, which we'll get onto in a second. But what I really like about this cape is how it kind of comes over like this in a very kind of animated series, kind of classical Batman vibe. And also it kind of reminds me, say what you will about the Gotham suit, the Gotham TV show, 10-year time jump episode, last episode, finale episode suit, that had this reminds me of that cape. Say what you will about the rest of the quality, but that cape was really awesome, at least from probably what I'm showing you on screen right now from that episode. And it kind of reminds me, with what Matt Reeves is doing here, of that Gotham cape. But hey, I just thought I'd chuck that in there for the Gotham fans. I don't know if you felt the same there. But let's talk about the cowl. The cowl was the most interesting aspect to me when I was looking at it for the first time. I was like, oh, I love this, because obviously it starts off from the middle of the body, progressively upwards, and then I saw Pattinson's face and I thought, okay, fine, no chin strap. Doesn't Pattinson, it's not remotely hard for me to say at all, he's a good looking guy with a chiseled chin, so this guy doesn't need a chin strap. Granted, that could come down the line. Granted, he could look even better in a chin strap, but does he need it right now for this movie? I'm fine with that. But moving onwards and upwards, that's when you kind of get to realize, wait, like, what kind of cowl is this? Is this like, is this made out of leather? Is it made out of some kind of fabric? And I was like, I'm not so sure about that. There's no white eyes. That wasn't a necessity for me. But with all of the people talking about, I need white eyes, if they actually bring that into live action in a Deadpool-esque kind of way, and how they've been successful with that, and Umbrella Academy kind of design, that would have been awesome. But hey, it wasn't a big deal to me. But I was just wondering, do I like this kind of, because you can see here the stitched together kind of look of it, and right along the nose seam line there at the edge, it's you can see these little dots in it, and I was like, okay, do I like this? And the more I watched it again and again, I really did. And I get why people might not like it, because it kind of comes off a bit confusing at first. It's like, why have such a bulky suit with a seemingly, or what one could only assume as, a leather-esque cowl? And that doesn't really make sense, I have to admit. Like, you want to protect your head, especially if you're a vigilante. Why wear something like that? Then again, you could argue Batman's such a badass, he wouldn't let his head to get, hit by a bat or something. But it's very possible. So why is this happening? For me, the reasons I like it is it's very kind of classical. It kind of adds more of an actual cowl feeling to it. A lot of times, whether that's in the comic books, the animations, or whatever, even if Batman has bulky armor or this, that, and the other, his cowl is often actually just seemingly some kind of pajama cowl, and it still looks badass. I'm not saying these are pajamas at all, but I kind of like that classical look to it. It gives me this Zorro kind of vigilante-esque feel to it, which is no stranger to Batman, especially obviously looking up to him when he was a kid and helped inspire him, as well as the Grey Ghost. But yet again, I want to evaluate, is this leather? Like, is it actually some crappy fabric that Batman has put on for some reason? I like the look of it. It's very form-fitting, but is it still some useless thing that's only going to conceal his identity and not offer protection? I'm not sure. At first I thought it was fabric, but when I looked deeper and deeper into it, it does have like molding. Like, those eyebrows are the typical kind of like molded in, kind of extruded, how else can I put it, but they've been molded to look like the typical angry Batman eyebrows. Yes, I guess you could get hard leather that stays, that you can like dry out and put in that position, but it just makes me think, really, is this leather? It kind of, if any of you have ever handled lead, like lead sheets, and how you can easily make that, lead's very malleable, it reminds me of a material like that. I'm not saying this is lead, and I'm not going to get too much further into this because I'm kind of being over analytical right now. So yeah, I'm not saying this is lead. It just reminds me of something that is malleable, but it is probably just something leathery, because if you look at the nose there, it does look like it's just like a leathery kind of sheet. I love how this suit has already seen some action. You can tell with some of the dents on the eyebrow there, the nose here at the bottom of the nose. This Batman has been out before, and we'll get onto exactly why in a second. And that is mainly the reveal. Yet again, it goes right up to the top of the head, but without showing the ears. And yet again, I just have to ask, why didn't they show the ears? This looks like a detective vigilante Batman, more detective noir, especially with that theme, than what we've ever seen before. And I am absolutely awestruck. And I think it's because I've always highly endorsed this film from its very conception, and been a big, even though without obviously any details, I've always had faith in Matt Reeves' vision, and the cast from when each member was being added. I think for me, it's just such a thrilling ride to have any news come out like this, because it's just something I know that will be successful. At least I have high hopes. I think that's everything I've got to say about the suit. Just a couple more photos that I'm showing you of like more of a brightened up version. People are adding on ears. These aren't necessarily the ears that they are showing. Obviously, because we didn't see the ears, they could be really long, they could be really short. I preferably want ears just like that big. I don't want them like that big. I want them fairly short. I used to be all about the long ears, I really did, but the more I kind of grew up as a Batman fan, the more I felt like having such long ears is not really as practical. It's a bit silly. Personally, that's just how I feel now. I used to be, as I said, on the complete opposite end. Now I kind of like the more Dark Knight Returns, like Affleck, you know, bat ears. And I think they're going to go short. I don't mind if they're double the size of Affleck's ears, but not triple or quadruple. That's way too big. And some Batsuits are really like that. You know, and at the very beginning of this video, it's so blurry. I don't know if it's my mind's eye or my imagination playing tricks on me, but it sometimes looks like there aren't even any ears on that version of the costume. But right at the beginning, you can see something a little bit darker. But then again, that could just be, you know, my imagination. I would love to know what you guys think. Lastly, everyone, this is very minor, but, you know, the Wrap, when reporting this, did state that apparently, according to insiders with knowledge of the project, Reeves' film will explore Bruce Wayne's second year as the Dark Knight detective. So yeah, again, another kind of rumor with inside knowledge. Can't guarantee that, but what we do know is it matches up with what we know and have known before officially about this film, and that is a very early point of view driven story told very squarely on the shoulders of Bruce Wayne's Batman vigilante detective in the very formative years of his career. And, you know, he said he's not doing Batman Year One, so I've always said a couple of years in, and, you know, this isn't an official confirmation, but given the armor, the Batsuit, the vibe of this film, the way that armor can be improved upon, if everything's spelling Batman Year 2, you know, or something of that early stage in Batman's career. And I think that's amazing. Can't wait. I just can't wait. I love how he's already been the Batman out there. We've talked about this plenty of times before, but it's just like, I know this film is going to feel like a Batman who's already been out there before. Sure, he's done some drug busts. Sure, Alfred has been on the comms with him this whole time for like, I don't know, what, like 10 to 14 months maybe. But in this film, he's going to come across his first huge challenge. And I think maybe he's even been overconfident up until this point. Maybe he's had, as I said, successful drug busts or, you know, thugs in the streets, and he's done a few good things here or there. And you know, Gotham's talking about this bat of Gotham. Have you seen this bat? Is he myth or legend or real or whatever? But then the Riddler strikes and Oswald's in this film. This is the way I'm envisioning it anyway. And Bruce is really pushed through his limits. And as Matt Reeves has officially said himself, this arc will allow him to go through a transformation with what I believe is just a vigilante at the beginning, and what he's been doing for a year already, but to the actual Dark Knight of Gotham. He will actually make that evolution like a freaking Pokemon. But that is everything I've got to say about this video, guys. I know it's been a long one, but I am super mother effing hyped about this. I would say more, but, you know, demonetization. So I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below about the Robert Pattinson Batman suit reveal. Let me know what you're thinking of the suit. Let me know what you think of the Wayne's murder weapon being in the symbol, most likely. Looks like it is. Let me know what you think the ears look like. Do you think the collar should be different? Do you think something else should be different? Do you think he should have had a chin strap? all the questions under the sun. And yeah, I need to shut up now because I could talk about this forever. Like the video if you enjoyed it. I'd really appreciate that, guys. Make sure you subscribe, even though I just said that, but for future Bat updates, they won't be all as long as this unless I'm mega hyped about it. But thank you so much for watching, everyone. Hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you, Bat family, in the next video. Goodbye.